Good morning and welcome to BUS 150. Today we're going to look at Module 3, Project B. And this one takes a little time. It's a little harder. Every time we do one, they get just a little bit harder. So, of course, the first thing that you want to do is you want to go into your file, save it as, change that 1 to a 2 and tell it to save. I'm not going to save it because I have it already in my folder that I've done the work on. Okay, so let's look at it step by step. Number 2 says to go to the sales worksheet, which is down here, and it wants you to rename it. So we're going to right mouse click, we're going to click rename, and we're going to change it to sales. Make sure you put that S, and dividends. Make sure you spell it correctly. Then you hit your enter key, and so now we have renamed it. Number 2 tells us to unfreeze column A. Now, we've looked at freezing our columns, and the reason is that you can work on just one particular part if you do that. How you know that this column is frozen, you see that line all the way straight down through there, that means it's frozen. So I'm going to view, and I'm coming over here on my toolbar, and I'm just going to tell it to freeze. Now there's no line, so I have that one unfrozen. Number 3 tells us to center align the contents of the merged cell A1. So here's A1, and I know that it's merged because it goes all the way, my box goes all the way from A all the way over to I. And so I'm going home, and I'm going to tell it to merge and center. Okay, so I'm coming up, click here, merge and center. And so it moves it over to the middle of book clouds so that it looks more consistent. Number 4 tells us in I3 right there. And again, always look over here in your address bar so that you know you're in the right one. Tells us to use the now function to display today's date. Now, my date is going to be different than yours because I'm doing this a little earlier. I come over here to my function key, and I double click on now, and I tell it okay because it puts the formula there. I tell it okay, and so it will have your date that you're working on this. Number 5. Now, this is where it gets tricky because sometimes copying these formulas can cause you to want to pull your hair out. It tells us to fill the range C13 through G13 with the formatting from the range B13 to B16. So I'm going to B13 through BG16. Oh, wait a minute, right here. B13 through B16. I'm going down the wrong way. All right. I'm going to click my Format Painter, and then I'm just going to do it all the way down to G16. So I'm not doing that one right there. And notice there now that it all has the accounting format. So that's how you do that. You have to select the range that you want to copy the formatting from first, click on your Format Painter, and then just come and select the range you want it to format. Number 6, Maria wants you to show a sales trend for each subscription type and the month. So I'm going to H13, and I'm in H13. I'm looking over here, and I'm going slow because I have to look again also to make sure I'm in the right range. And I want to do a column sparkline. So I'm coming over here to insert. Here are my spark lines right there. And it says column. So I'm going to click on column. Now it tells us to tell me the data range. Where do you want me to gather the data? And it tells us B13 right here through G13. So I've done B13 through G13. So I've got, you could actually just type it in there if you don't want to select it. B13 through G13. There is my range. Now, one thing I want you to look at is on the location range. You see those dollar signs? Remember, that's absolute value. That means that the value in H13 will not change. It's going to be based there, but it's based on whatever is up here in my data range. Tell it okay. So now I have a column trend line, and it tells us to use the fill handles. And remember, here's your fill handle right there, that little one. So I'm going to bring it all the way down. And after I've filled it, then it wants us to change the color. So I'm coming over here to my Sparkline colors, and it wants us to use dark purple accent 2, and it tells us the sixth column, first 1, 2, see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's right there. Dark purple accent 2. No shading. So I click on that, and ooh, we have a real pretty purple. And then the last thing it tells us is to show the first and last point. So I'm coming over here and clicking my first, and I'm clicking my last. Now, had it asked us to change the marker colors, those points, we would have come up there right under the color and changed it, but it did not ask us to do that. All right, we're moving on to number 7. And it tells us to copy the formula in I13, which is right there. Okay, I'm going back home, and I'm going to copy the formula. All right. Then it tells us that it wants us to paste it in the range I14 through I16 using the formula and normal and number formatting. So I'm coming up here, and there's my number formatting. So let's see, I'm going to copy and I'm going to paste it. Then I'm coming over here to that. And so there you go. So I selected the one that it told us in I13. I went over, I clicked under copy. So then it put what I call my little dancing ants around it. Then I highlighted where I want to put it. And I went over there and I selected the one that says formula number formatting. Number 8. Maria wants you to determine how the sales of each sales is formatted to each month. So I'm going to B19 right there. So I clicked in B19. There's my address bar. And it tells us that we're going to using the function that divides. I'm not using my function key. I'm going to key it in. So remember, I have to start with equals, and it's B16 divided by I16. Now, you just if you just clicked or type this in, a lot of times the way you look at it, it shows I14 through I16. You would automatically want to put that, but that's wrong. You got to invert it. It's B16 divided by I16. I hit my enter key, and then it wants us to copy it. So I come over there, and there, whoops, got something wrong. Let me undo it. Okay, let's see. I16. Oh, I tell you what I did wrong. I totally forgot to make it absolute value. So I have to click anywhere in that and I hit my F4. That makes it absolute value. And now after I've done that, because remember, I want I-16, which is up here. I want that to remain absolute. I don't want it to change. I do want my B16, then to change it to C16 and different things and all the way across. All right. So now let me see if I get my correct answer. Now I have the correct answer. So don't forget that in very important step. Number 9, we're going to use goal seek. And what goal seeking does is it says, okay, if I'm looking at the totals, I'm looking up here at my sales report totals, and I think, oh, I really need to increase my average products. And what do I have to do that? That is when you want to use goal seek. So I'm coming up here to my data, and then I'm coming over here to what if, and I'm going to goal seek. So it's saying, all right, we are going to change the uh, I-9, which is right there. That's my total. I'm going to change I-9 to 2,000. So I'm going to say, okay, I want my average products total per month to be 2,000. And so to do that, I got to change I-6, which is, so I click and I do I-6. And I'm not sure if I have to have that capitalized, but I'm going to make it capitalized just to be safe. And I tell it okay. And notice that it works and it changed it. So in order to be 2,000, then I've got to have 2,353 as a yearly product. All right. Number 10 tells us to go to J5. So I'm clicking on J5, and you notice you can barely read that, okay? So the thing that it wants us to do is to merge and center, and this, we're not going across, we're going down. So I go J9, J5 through J9, and I'm coming home, and I'm going to merge and center it, okay? And so now it says estimates only. And then B tells us to rotate the text down. So we can go over here to format cells, and you can go to alignment, or you can come up here to format cells. All right, so it wants us to change it to a -90, and I tell it, okay. And it makes it estimate only. But then the C part tells us to change the width. So I have to click on the down arrow on J, and I'm going to do column width. And instead of it being 13.5, I'm going to make it 6.00, and I'm going to tell it okay. And so it changes it to estimates only. Now, if you look at the what am I trying to think of? The finished product, if I don't know if it gives y'all that one to be able to look at, but on mine it shows estimates only. It's wrapped, but mine fills in, and when I uploaded it, it did not count it wrong. If yours it shows it wrong, let me know and I'll make sure I correct that. All right, step 11. Maria wants us to calculate the dividends earned. She wants to know how much she's going to pay her employees based on commission. All right, so I'm going to B23, which is right there. There you go. And again, I am going to go to function key, and I'm going to do, let's see, let me make sure. if function, double click on it. All right, so here, this one kind of gives you like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. So here's what you've got to do. Just take your time. If B6, so I'm going to type B6 is greater than, and your greater, oops, your greater than is that right pointing arrow, or equal to 130,000. Do not put a comma, okay? Do not put a comma. So if it's equal to greater than 130, then it's going to be true, and we're going to say B16 times 0.25. So if B6, which is it B6 or B16? B16, sorry, I'm thinking that just doesn't make sense. B16, whoops, if B16, let me start over. All right, let me start over here. Let me cancel it because I want you to get this function key. Now, all right, if B16 is greater than or equal to 130,000. Okay, now look at B16. Notice it's 144,000. If it's greater than, if B16 all the way across is greater than 130, then we're going to say B16 times 0.25. So that means that the salespeople are going to get a 25% commission. If it is false, B16 times 0.20. So they're only going to get 2% commission. So that's your formula. So we tell it okay. So notice that January it is greater than, so they're going to get a 36, that she's going to pay an amount of 36,019.33. Doesn't mean everybody gets that amount. That's the how much she's going to allow. Now I'm going to copy it across to June. And notice, like in May and April, they didn't get 30,000. So because notice that their sales there, it wasn't 100, it was 119 and 119. So 2 months, they only got 3%. All right. Then we're going to go number 12. We're coming down here to H23. We're going to select it. We're going back up to our spark lines. She wants us to change it to a line. And then we're going to use a style. And we are looking for rows 40%. So that one was easy. It just kind of makes it a little bit easier to read. And then number 13 says to delete that. Don't click on it and just delete it. It wants the whole row deleted. So right mouse click and hit delete. Save it and then upload it. And you have completed 3. Again, look at your see what you've done, go back and fix things that maybe you missed or even I missed, because believe it or not, I do make mistakes. So I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to stop recording.